Hello everybody, I hope I'm audible right now, and let's just simply continue from here on. We are gonna be working on the same project, Excalidraw, and the overall timing is around 1.5 an hour or probably 2 hours. And in the remaining time, we will work on Google Meet clone project. So this is what the plan is right now. But let's see how it's gonna be going on. Coming back to this, let's just simply spin up the project. The good thing is that now onwards we are gonna be actually pushing the code to GitHub, so we will not lose any code that actually happened the last time. Excalidraw, and this is the one that we are actually working on now. Alrighty, so let's just simply spin up everything required for it. And docker start post db. Meanwhile, time to go to ChatGPT, because of course the history is in there. So the good thing is that even when we lost the code, we still have the history, and using the history we can recover most of the things. Excalidraw code in that is bad. I'll have to look for the right date again. July 29th, that simply means moving shapes and frames. This part was done yesterday if I'm not wrong. 26th of July, and yeah, so we went through this part. Okay, so we have gone through this. Let's go with this one, logic for select all right now. So logic for select all. Was this the one that we were supposed to be working on, or this was the one just after that? This was the one, code implementation. What should I do in my Excalidraw clone project to copy pasting one page to another page? Okay, that is fine, we will work on this. But before even that, let's just simply run both together, that will be fine as well. Okay, both are running. Slash dash dash. Let's just simply wait for it to be compiled, and meanwhile we can just simply focus on the other stuff. So yesterday we already did the framing part, so that is sort of done as of right now. The only thing that can be done right here, that is inside the components canvas, we have what context menu, we have use selection actions over here. So there are a few things that I wanna change, especially inside use selections, not this one, actually selected shape menu .tsx and this part in here. So ultimately what I'm gonna do, that is cut, copy, paste, they are gonna be visual, duplicate is fine, select all is fine, copy, paste, yeah, this one. So ultimately what I'm gonna do in here, that is hidden, optional, and that's gonna be boolean, and at the end this itself is gonna be hidden. That is the first thing, because we haven't really worked on this part. Action, alrighty, let's do one thing. This is fine. Copy link, markdown hidden true, copy HTML embedded hidden, paste style, that is also fine for now, hidden, that is fine. Export selection needs to be hidden. Add comment needs to be hidden. Create frame, remove frame, group selection and group selection, that is fine. But we have to render this conditionally as well, so that is something we have to focus on, but that can be done later. And especially rendering them conditionally depends on the what, it merely depends on the shape selected. Fine with that. We have sent backward and all, that is fine, it will work. Align, this is gonna be hidden as for right now. Alrighty, then we have changed the shape, that is again gonna be hidden for now. Delete we have here, that is fine. Okay, so we have done it. Now it just needs to be modified, so I'll be modifying it really quickly. So modifying in the sense, whenever we are rendering the menu, so render menu, this part needs to be just modified a little bit. So over here we are gonna be getting the item. Once we actually get the item, so the item dot here is true. In that case, so opacity is actually gonna be around 50 or something. We'll see how it works. Let's open one of the boards. What the hell? Did it fail earlier or what? Something happened. Okay. So yeah, we have the things like this. Rather, the opacity should actually be around 20%. So this way we'll have the stuff, especially the ones that do not work. And this is not bad as of right now. Going ahead, this is one of the things that we fixed. The same thing needs to be done with the menu, empty canvas menu. So the hidden true that we actually had, Okay, even this needs to be modified. We will work on it later. Okay, coming back to this. What should I do in my Excalidraw clone to copy pasting from one page to another page, one word to another word? Okay, this is just a thinking process in here, that is fine. Then write the logic for the clipboard.ts. It just simply writes the logic for that, but this is not the logic that I actually use in there, so I'll actually have to modify it. Copy helper, paste helper, one improvement, clipboard, give me copy.ts. Write code to paste. So I think I'll have to handle it again. It's not like the exact code is going to be used, hence we have to handle it. Memory, clipboard data. Use clipboard, it has use clipboard copy shapes. So ultimately we are just simply copying the selected shapes, right? As simple as that. Fine. Complete this. Okay, that is fine. Nano ID it is using in here. Use clipboard, and at the end of the day copy shapes, cut shapes. It has these options, probably it could be the one, but not sure. For now let's just simply copy it, and we will definitely have to make changes. Use clipboard. This, but there's one important bug in your ID, that is alrighty. So inside clipboard, I hope I have that here. Let's paste this code and see. So what read, clipboard and write, these two things we don't really have, and they are just simply used for reading and writing. So read clipboard.ts, write clipboard.ts. So it is actually giving me some, this is good stuff, but there's one important bug in your ID remapping. The problem is that you are generating frame IDs like this. So clone ID .type is triple equals to frame, then get duplicated frame ID, cloned ID, and this, otherwise you ID before, then later cloned frame ID, get duplicated frame ID, this null. This only remaps frames. Every non-frame shape gets a random ID that isn't stored anywhere. If later you add arrows, binding, comments and all, then so better approach can be that just simply mapping it here. So shape ID map, and once that is actually mapped, whenever we are looping through the shapes, so we are gonna be just simply setting it in there. So cloned ID is gonna be shape ID map dot this. Alrighty, coming back to this, what are we doing in here? So whenever we are copying the shapes, so first of all we are checking the selected cells, then we have the selected IDs. Once we have the selected IDs, after that copied shapes are gonna be shapes. We are just simply filtering them based on the selected shapes IDs and then structuring them, that is also fine. Copy shapes dot length, we are checking that. Image assets IDs, so all the image assets IDs we are just simply setting it in here because those need to be saved in there, that is right. So for const shape of copied shape, if that symbol equals to image, then image assets IDs, that particular ID is gonna be saved in there, just the ID for that. Okay, and then we have copy the image assets object dot values. So we have all the images. Images, this is the part, use images. Okay, that is fine. Filter asset, image asset IDs has asset dot ID. So ultimately when it comes to images, so I'll get all the, just a sec. So when it comes to this particular image over here, use images, so I'll get the images related to one page, right? And from those images there might be some selected ones. So image asset IDs has asset dot ID, then that's gonna be the one over here. They are gonna be the copied image assets, that is fine. And then writing to the clipboard. So when it comes to writing to this, so shapes dot copied shapes we have, image assets we have. So we are writing the shapes and the image assets, that is fine. When it comes to cutting them, so we are just simply copying them, and once they are copied we are removing them from the set shapes, ultimately shapes, and then invalidating it, that it will work. The important part is this. So when it comes to pasting this, so we have image ID, group ID, frame ID, that's the problematic part here. So instead of having the frame ID, we can actually just have the shape ID. So that is what it was telling me earlier, that have shape ID map, and that will be just simply mapping them all. So over here, instead of having this part, so we'll have shape ID map, because the frame ID is at the end of the shape ID somewhere or the other. And whenever we are looping through this, so shape ID map, where I had a frame ID earlier. So const, we are just simply having the shape ID in here, duplicated image assets, so clipboard dot image assets dot map. Asset has implicitly any type. New ID, image ID map set ID, this, so we are just simply setting the image IDs as well. So asset ID and the new ID that's gonna be assigned in there. So structured clone, and the new ID is gonna be in here, that's gonna be new image assets for all. So we are assigning the IDs for the new shapes, new assets. Then clipboard or shapes, now let's continue. So duplicate image assets, duplicating image assets in the sense the assets that I actually got, I have to change their IDs, because when we are pasting, their IDs need to be changed, that is right. That is sort of fine as well. So we have changed the ID, but the thing is that if that shape already exists, still the ID needs to be changed, right? Yeah, fine with this. Duplicate shapes. So when it comes to duplicating the shapes, the clipboard or this cloned shapes, structured clone, that is fine. So they are the shapes are actually being cloned in here. So when it comes to shapes, so this is where we have to make sure that we are giving it the right ID, right? So if that's the type is the frame, then the first of all I'm gonna be checking in here. That simply means I can say shape ID map dot get for this particular ID. What is the problem with this? Cloned dot ID. So what we are trying to do in here, there is again the problem is that is gonna be defined there for sure. So what are we doing here? That if first of all at the top what we are doing, we are just simply mapping the IDs of all the shapes. So whatever shapes that I actually got from the copied ones, we are getting their IDs, creating new one, and that is it. And now the next time when in reality we are assigning them, so at that time we are just simply checking cloned ID. This is not right. If the type is equals to frame, then only we are getting the ID from there, otherwise we are not. How is this gonna be working in that case? So yeah, we have to get it directly from there, so we don't have to get for one, rather we have to get for all, because just getting one doesn't really make any sense. So shape ID actually has the IDs for all, so I'm gonna be getting them for all. Then cloned type image, if the type is actually image, in that case that image need to have image ID, image asset ID. So new image ID is gonna be image ID map dot get cloned data dot ID. This is fine. So we have given the ID to the image. Now the new ID needs to be given to the image asset or the data. So image ID map dot get to cloned dot data dot image ID, this part. So image ID map has that. So what does it have? Image ID map has the ID for the data, and image ID map, in fact this is for the image assets. Image asset is gonna be saved inside the data part. So we have new image assets, and at that time we are just simply saving the ID for the, so image ID map instead of this image asset ID map. That would be clearer here. So this is done, and this is it. So if the cloned type is actually image, then we have to get the new image asset ID, new image asset ID. So image asset ID map dot get cloned dot data dot image ID. So data contains the image asset. From there I got the previous image ID, and using the image asset ID map I got the new one. Once I have the new one, I just simply save it in their back. This is fine. Then cloned group ID. So this is get a duplicated clone group ID. This is fine right now, because if it has the group ID, then we are just simply creating the new ID for that, and after that if it doesn't have, then we are setting it to null. And in here the IDs are actually group ID map. They are set as well. So if another shape has the same group ID, so this new UUID is not gonna be created. So new ID is not gonna be created. That is fine. And as for the frame ID, so frame is gonna be nothing but a shape, and I mean the frame ID is at the end of the day a shape's ID. So we can just simply say that shape ID map dot get and frame dot ID. cloned dot frame id. This should be fine. Now of course I'll have to make sure that this does exist, but this should be fine. So the cloned frame id is gonna be the shapes id, so this is how it's gonna be going on, and hopefully it has done it this way only. Frame id is sort of like this. uh, that is right. We can even have this null in here if that doesn't exist. That is also alright then. Well, it's better what? It's still not that good. Even though we got it back, but the network is poor. Um, yeah, I'll have to further fix it. Let me keep my mobile in such a place where. Alright, everybody. Now things are alright. So let's just simply continue. So it hasn't given me the answer yet. This is the part where I asked. So this is the first one. Let's reload this thing as well. So I'll try to go back to the history. A good implementation can be sort of like this. So this is what it is actually giving us. Let's copy it and we'll understand exactly what it does. Alrighty, so let's focus on writing it first. So when it comes to the clipboard meme type, get memory clipboard, set memory clipboard. We pasted the code at the wrong place. Okay, let's see what it is doing. Right clipboard, it is just simply getting the clipboard structured clone. So ultimately the data, what is this data about? Clipboard, it gets image ID and this, that is fine. And the next thing is that first of all, yeah, writing or reading, which one? Writing first of all, let's focus on that. So navigator.clipboard write text json.stringify, and that is the job is done. The simplest way is this. Let's go with this one. Ultimately we are just simply converting the data in the string format, and we are saving it in the most easiest way. And when it comes to reading that, so we are first of all checking whether that exists. If memory clipboard, so whatever we wrote, that just simply becomes the part of this as well. So if that already exists, we can return it from here on, or we'll have to read from here. That is fine. That's not bad either actually. If that already exists in there, though, nothing could be better than this. And otherwise we are gonna be just simply reading the clipboard, and once we are reading that, we are gonna be parsing that. Once we parsed it, we are gonna check that the clipboard that actually got that exists. If that does not exist, or if the shapes and image assets are not there, we are returning from here. And memory clipboard is gonna be clipboard once we actually paste the stuff in here. And return structured clone, yeah, that is fine. Clipboard actions, right, clipboard actions, here we are. So overall, this is how I have the stuff. We'll work on it, we'll make it better, but as of right now, let it be the way it is. Okay, what's the next thing that we actually have to work on? This has been the third version, if I'm not wrong. Yeah, so let's go to the first one. Here we just talked about the z index and all, that is fine, exactly how it works. So yeah, this is sort of done. Now it's all about implementing it, so we will implement it very soon, like integrating it. But before even that, simplify the logic, not this part. Avoid logic tailwind moving shapes and from. Probably logic for select all is something that we need to write more. I'm just simply gonna copy paste, as simple as that. I have gone through those things quite a lot in past, so inside selections I'm gonna be having it. We have select all, it is just simply gonna be setting the IDs in there, in the selected shape IDs, and it should even invalidate it. So function export selected shortcut. What am I saying in here? What is this all about? Duplicate offset, create duplicated shapes. So we are working on the duplicated shapes first of all as well. Actions menu, selected shape menu, context type. It does not have hidden properties yet. Get the inspiration from it and modify the code. I would do. Okay, first of all, let's work on the select all section. So when it comes to selecting them all, just this much is not enough. So select all shapes. Selection actions, use selection. let's just simply have it, and let's see if we can implement it here. What are we returning from here? One pointer down, this, that is fine. Selection actions. Use select all. Use select all.ts. Let's just simply paste the code right in here, but this is not enough because in select all we are having to pass it all. That's not good. It should actually be a hook that just simply gets the job done, and select all should be, everything should be selected, that is right. So I don't want this. Rather, doesn't it create a proper hook in here? Not really. Then we have just directly used duplicate shape. That's insane. Anyway, this logic is not right. We'll have to create a hook over here, so we'll have to work on this. Let's talk about this duplicating shapes and stuff. So write the logic for select all. Okay, this is where it is writing. Write the logic for select all and get idea from the given code about the structure of okay, that is fine. This is where it just simply writes the hook for that. That's what I wanted. So let me just simply see if it works great. So it just simply gets the state. User editor store gets state. Well, this is still not right, so let me see what happens just after that. Select all this, get the inspiration from it and modify the code I would give. Empty canvas menu, that simply means we have to fix it in here. Okay, then your keyboard shortcuts are gonna be like this. Keyboard shortcuts, whenever we press this is gonna be called. As for the keyboard shortcuts, I'm gonna be just simply commenting them right here. Later on in the future they are gonna be used. This is just simply say that if I place control and or the meta key plus A, so all of them are gonna be selected. If you don't want frames to be selected, we want frames to be selected, so we can just simply remove them if you only want the top level shape like Excalidraw. I want everything to be selected, that is fine. Okay, let's fix this part. So we are getting the shapes, then we have the selected shapes IDs. So whenever we are selecting, use editor store get state from editing shape ID. If a particular shape is being edited, then that should not be selected. Editing shape ID. If a particular shape is being edited, we don't really need to have this part in here. I mean, we can completely get rid of this. That is, this much is fine. Shapes dot map. Then we got the selected shapes IDs. This is right, and then set selected shape IDs, invalidating it, and the job is done. So this is overall good. Okay, let's go to the next part. Get the inspiration from it and give the code that I modify the code. So this is the one that I gave, and it just simply modifies it like this. That is right, that's what I wanted. But I want it to give me the code, so it gives me the code like this, and probably that's what I wanted as well. Menu item, change of order, that is fine. What are we trying to do in here? Write the logic for hiding frame in group related options conditionally. Write the logic for hiding frame. What does it mean? Write the logic for hiding frame in group related options. Okay, conditionally, fine, good, got that. But before even that, we had this part in here, and at the end of the day we have to go to the canvas context menu, empty canvas, this and this. Here we are. Now disabled okay, menu button. Where is the menu button? Disabled. So that particular button may be disabled as well. Menu button.tsx. Are we getting disabled in here? We are not really getting that. Destructive shortcut and all these things, even we are not forget about disabled, or we can have disabled here. Yeah, disabled. But yeah, let me check it out first. So the button that I actually have, if I make it disabled, what is the difference in the result? They look the same. In that case, what's the use of disabling that? Okay, we'll have to redesign it. Disabled. Disabled boolean, we are gonna be getting this disabled in here. And if that is disabled, in that case I'll just simply set the opacity to 20. I mean, that is it. Something I can do. Item dot disabled, and instead of having hidden in here, I'm gonna be having disabled. Paste should be there. Copy to clipboard png disabled, that is fine. Copy to clipboard as svg disabled. This one is not. Select all is not disabled. Toggle grid is not disabled. Snap to object is disabled. Zen mode is not disabled. These are the things that, okay, that is fine then. Okay, this is how it looks like as of right now, and that is enough. Later we are gonna be working on some more functionalities. Too much. Okay, what's the next thing? We have two apps over here. We have frame editor preview, okay, and we have page controls. Let's check this thing out 2 days back. We have frame editor preview as well, so I'm gonna be focusing on both at the same time. So the first one is the load board related page control, so let's not worry about that. Frame editor preview, what it does. When did I work on this? 15 hours ago. So this was the version that we worked on. Okay, that's fine. So the main code isn't really in here. In that case, let's log in with this one. Okay, So this is something that we have worked on. Let's go to the chat GPT. This part we are done with. Then menu item, so it just simply hides it, right? So disabled. Disabling it conditionally, so we have to have a few things. This doesn't work directly like the way I wanted it to work. So disabled and hidden, there is a difference. Alrighty. That simply means I will not get the code written. I'll have to work on it on my own. Anyway, the very first thing that we have to do in here, that is selected shapes menu. Hidden that I actually used in here, that should ideally be disabled. If on the go, if this is even being, let's make it disabled first of all. Let's go till the end. This should be hidden. This should be hidden as well, and the overall things are done. So this is one of the first things, and the second thing is that actually having this, I'll have to modify it, that is for sure. But before that, let's just simply have it all. Selected shapes we have. I don't know whether I have that or not. Selected shapes, do I have them? Selected shapes IDs we have. Here we have selected shapes we have. Once we have the selected shapes, so has a frame, if we are using sum over here, okay, this is something we have to change, we have to modify it. Sum means even one is selected, one is true, it will return true to us. What we ideally want, conditions here. Suppose let's talk about framing first of all. So when we select anything, I should get a framing option. If I'm selecting a frame, so frame should always, come on, always be there. So create a frame, I should always get that. Remove frame. Okay, now let's work on this. So create frame should always be there, so we do not really need to get rid of this. Remove frame, so when it comes to removing the frame, So even if a single shape has frame, single selected shape has a frame, we should be getting the remove option. Is that so? I'm not sure how it works. The last time I uh, fix the logic, having a look at this erasers functionality part, like exactly how eraser works. So this time I'm gonna do the same, but it feels crazy writing the same logic. That's really bad. Never mind. Untitled. Come on, yaar. How long will you take to just simply load the stuff? Connection established. Okay, let's give it a try. So we have this first thing. We have this another thing. We are gonna create a frame over here, create a figure. So this is created. Now we are getting this again create option, and when we click on this, we are getting this remove figure as well. So we do get this remove figure, but if we select them both, we don't get the remove figure. That simply means when just a figure is selected only, then we can just simply get the remove one. And if I actually make it a figure, then if I select them both, then I'm gonna be getting what the this is the condition. So only when one shape is selected and the type is removed, then only we get this. Even together we can't, or we don't. Okay, remove figure. That is a good one anyway. Okay, fine. So this is the another one. So if there's one selected shape and it's a frame, render remove frame, that is the first one. Group. So when it comes to grouping them, so we can group it. We can create a frame. We can't group a single shape, that is fine. Group selection. If there are more than one shape, then group, and it cannot group a frame. Can't group if there are frames included too. What else? Ungroup selection, and ungroup selection, ungroup, ungroup only when don't render ungroup if the frames are this is it. We have to modify the logic. Again, I'm not gonna be writing the code honestly. I'm done writing the same code again and again. I'll ask our selector shapes menu, the just emergent to just write the code for me. It's just the UI part, rendering the things conditionally. So let's get it done really quickly. Yesterday I had an account on this one. Oh, come on, quick. Modify the logic as per the comments. Ultimately, you have to make it work like app.eraser.io if needed. Make the changes as per the need. At the end, give me the modified version right here. Alright, let it just simply walk. So it's just simply gonna do the job. That is great. I mean, it's not really something that we should be worrying about. And once this thing is done, it needs to be a little at the top. So let's go to the top bar. Top bar ultimately, bro. We have this canvas, left properties panel, toolbar. This is done right now. It has some questions. Should items be completely hidden, filtered out when not applicable, or disabled? Grayed out. Grayed out. Grayed out. Next. Are there any specific conditions you want to enforce for grouping and grouping of framing based on multiple shapes selected already inside a frame? Make it be like let's see. अरे ना रे भाई सबमिट कर दिया. चलो कोई ना. It's simply gonna get it done. It even gave me the code earlier. That is fine. Yes. At least it doesn't consume the credits when it asks the question. Like a lot of credits. And that is done quite quick. So this is the overall logic that we actually have in here. We'll have a look at this. Exactly how it works and all. But we could have copied it directly. Selected shapes menu. Okay. conditions check is a single shape selected shape dot count. Okay, that's fine. Is multiple shapes if that is greater than, has single frame selected and selected shape. What is the problem? This is possibly undefined. Type is equal to frame. So is a has single frame selected, sort of like this. Has frames included. So this is like this. Has grouped shapes, sort of like this. So these are the conditions checked. On the basis of that, here we are. So first of all, create a frame. It is always gonna be visible. Do we get create shapes all the time? If that is already a figure, then we get the figure again. We get the figure again. We get the figure again. Yeah, so we get the figure option all the time. It's sort of like that. So actions, so ultimately create figure is always rendered, and then has single frame selected. So we have to just simply replace with the remove frame actions if available. Has single frame selected. So if the single frame is not selected, it's gonna be disabled. Group selection, if there are not multiple shapes, if there are not multiple shapes, it's gonna be disabled. And if it has the frame ID included, this is gonna be disabled. And lastly we have ungroup. So had grouped shapes, if it doesn't have the group shapes, it's gonna be disabled, and if it has the frame included, it's gonna be disabled. That is it. We have this use layout effect. This runs when everything is ready before rendering the page. So get menu, open sub menu. Position is gonna be get some menu position, set some menu position, and this. So whenever the open sub menu changes, that can be true to false. Let me see. That can be either string or this. So whenever the value changes, this particular, come on, use layout effect runs. The signature is identical to use effect, but it fires synchronously after the DOM mutations. Use this to read layout from the DOM and synchronously render. Updates scheduled inside layout effect will be flushed synchronously. So once everything is ready, just simply use for rendering the stuff. So that is why it's being used in here. Alrighty. So we are getting the if something is disabled, I misunderstood that. That's fine. Disabled. Disabled to true. Okay, here we are. For frame and group related options, make them hidden, and if they instead of disabled, and if they are hidden, they shouldn't be visible. So filter the menu options before rendering. It just needs to filter the rendering options. So ultimately when we are rendering over here, where not this part, render menu items, we are just simply passing all the menu items. So this particular menu items, it actually needs to be filtered, so whenever we are passing it in there, and hopefully it has already done that. So we have show in here, that is also fine. Either keep hidden or show, that doesn't really matter. I can directly copy it all and replace the logic. Well, just a sec. And few issues in here. That is the first one. Selected shapes. We'll make sure that we do have the selected shapes at least. The length should be greater than. So let's make sure that we have it here. Overall things are done. So let's check the result. So this is how it looks like. That is good. Create a frame. The frame is created. Now we have to fix this part. So ultimately what do we have to do? That if the frame, if there are more than one shapes, but they are part of the single frame, I should be getting the remove frame option from there. Crazy. So ultimately this remove frame, this one has single frame selected, not really. Only show when a single frame is selected. Let's modify this logic. If many shapes are selected but they are part of single frame, I mean they are part of one parent frame, render remove frame. This is gonna be the last one. And hopefully it's gonna be fixed. Ultimately what I have to do in here, that is I have to create a check, that is the shapes belongs to single frame. So instead of checking this like has single frame selected, so instead of doing this, what do we have to do? That shapes belongs to the single frame. So if the shapes belongs to the single frame, let's see what this does in here. This is already done. I still have but that we'll have to modify the logic further. Or let's do one thing, if just the frames are selected, render them. Yeah, that is better. If I'm just selecting the shape frames, Let me see how it works, otherwise I will go with the simpler version. Let me see. Yeah, it doesn't really work as expected. Let's change it. Now I'm gonna keep it simple. That is, if time to change these conditions. I'm gonna go with the previous logic itself, and over here this is has single frame selected shape, so this is something that we have to change, right? So is single shape selected, that is fine. So when a single shape is selected, we should not be grouping that. Is multiple shapes, we can check it like this. Has single frame selected, okay. Has frames included, if the frames are included, that is fine. And fonts has frames and their children shapes included. So that's quite a big one. So has frames and their children shapes included. So selected shapes dot what is the better way now? If there is even single frame, I should be removing that. Selected shapes, if it has the frames included, then it gives me this. Has frames and their children shapes included. Let's keep it simple. If it has frames included, I'm gonna be just simply rendering the removing option. It is just still visible. I'm gonna ask it to make the logic better if it can. Make remove frame rendering logic better if possible. Let's see what it returns, otherwise we'll go with this version itself. As of right now, this is completely fine. Okay, once this part is done, what is the next thing that we have to focus on? We can group them. That's done. Let me see what it has done in here. I'm getting this remove frame in here. Create a frame. That is fine as well. We are still getting the remove frame option. That simply means it hasn't done anything. Condition stick, that is fine. Single shape selected, that is the frame. Multiple shape selected and all of them belong to the exact parent frame ID. So first frame ID is gonna be this one. All shares and parent frame is multiple shapes to booleans selected every, they have the same frame ID. This logic is wrong. So multiple shapes selected and all of them belong to the exact frame. Has frames or framed. Has grouped shapes. This is fine. Show create frame. Show remove frame. The opposite of this, that is also fine. That simply means when we are removing the frame, we don't get create frame. This is bad, we don't really need to have it. I'd like to go with the previous version. And now has frames included. Let's write the logic on or on. That would be better. Say single shape. What do we actually want to check? We want to check that if I select a frame, all the children shapes, they belong to this frame only. As simple as that. So selected shapes dot. Now we have to check it for every. Okay, now what do we have to do? So the shapes, the selected shapes that we actually have in here. If just a minute. Alrighty, let's continue. So if the shape dot type, if that's triple equals to frame, then we need to do it recursively in here. That is something we have to focus on. So first of all, this logic is gonna be running for everything. That is something we don't have to do. Oh, this is crazy, rendering it in this way. Has only frame and its children. So if there are more than one frame, okay. So what I want actually, that coming back to this one, I don't get this remove. Only when I click on the frame, then I get the remove figure. Otherwise I do not get the remove figure in here. So Yeah, we do not get the remove figure option in here. And ideally we should be getting that remove figure option, especially when we are clicking on a, yeah, we should not be getting that, that is fine. Only when you click on the frame you get the remove frame, that is but what if we want to remove from one shape? So in my case I want to get this option at this level as well. Okay, in that case so what is the thing that I have to check? So I should be let's keep it simple, show remove frame, and over here selected shape dot sum shape dot type, that's triple equals to frame, render it, this is the first thing, or shape dot frame id existing there. We are getting this remove frame option in here, we don't get, and now we get. So I think this is sort of better, good for now. We don't get remove frame. Let me have one more. Create the frame. Now even if I click on the single frame, we get this remove frame option. This is removed right now. Well, that doesn't really work because we haven't added them, but overall this is how it's gonna be going on. And if we just simply select it all, we still get this. If we just simply select this, we still get this. We don't get the group option, we don't get the group option here, not really. So let me have one more shape. Array. Now we get the group selection. Once we grouped something, we can ungroup that, but we actually select many, we can't ungroup that, but we definitely get the remove frame. And so we should be getting a remove frame only when the frames are selected. In that case and when not has grouped shapes. So now what will happen? We won't get the remove, only when it has the frame, then only we get the remove frame. Let me create another frame, and now if I go with this, I'm getting this remove frame, but if I select this as well, I'm not gonna get the remove frame. Same goes with this. So right now we are getting ungroup, but when we select them both, we are not getting ungroup. But if we have duplicated shapes, let me create one more group selection. Now if I select them both, I can still ungroup, I can create a frame on top of that. So this is how it just simply works. Alrighty, so keep the logic this way only, just modify it a little if needed. It's all about reformatting it. So almost we have gone through this particular section as well, and now what do we have to focus on? Time to focus on this particular part in here. Even we have to copy paste. We worked on the functionality, but that is not completed yet. We have to go through the history as well. So this part is done. Remove frame. This is the modified version. That is good. Let's go with this remove frame option. So wherever I have this remove frame, where I have it inside actions. So alright, this is just a modified version. We will go through the code very soon. But overall, this is done. Video reps issues. This is related to what? This is related to Google Meet. Current participant as expected. Import ref object user. This doesn't work as well. Yeah, so this is done. Avoid duplicate participant. This is again related to the Google Meet clone project. It hasn't done it yet. Why is it taking time? Okay, fine, it's done. Not this part. What all it has done here? Let me have a look at the conditions in here. Is single shape selected? That's not really being used. Show remove frame. Why is it repeating the logic here? Selected shapes. If it doesn't have the grouped shapes, and if these are selected, then only I render it. Alrighty, this is overall done. This is how the logic should ideally be. Single shape isn't really being used though. So the grouping should not happen when the single shape is selected. Let me see. Is multiple shapes or has frames included? Group selection. So if there are multiple shapes, then we have to group. Yeah, that is right. So this is fine for now. And apart from this particular thing, raw menu items. Overall things are done. What's the next thing? Let me change the offset or top bar dot t6. Top should be around 5. It's still compiling it. Yeah, this is fine. And overall things are working as expected. We still have to work on this part. Changing the name, yeah. Change the. So we have to focus on this particular part too. Let's do one thing. 1 hour and 37 minutes is already been. I'm gonna take a break for a few minutes, probably 10 to 20 minutes. After that we'll be back and we will work on this particular part. So the next thing that's gonna be work on frame name editing section, because this doesn't work as expected, so we have to just simply fix this. Alrighty then, that was it. I'm gonna be catching up soon and we will work on the remaining options. It's gonna be quite quick hopefully, but let's see. Anyway, take care.